compare at all, but I think when these things happen, the team clearly needed a breath of fresh air based on our play, and I think it's provided that and some teaching, and gave us a little bit of life last game. So gotta continue on.
You talked about the presence, and he's a guy he's 1,100 NHL games. How much backing, I guess, does that bring him?
Well, I think a lot. I think you can tell that he's been around. I mean, fourth team. I think it's around 20 years as a head coach. So a lot of experience there. Obviously, coached some really good teams, some really good players. So there's that, but just how he's explaining things in video and drawing things up and stopping drills and all that, and then kind of getting us to trust ourselves again a little bit instinctually, which is huge. So it's been good so far. It's been 4 days, so we got a long ways to go, but hopefully we can kind of continue some of the momentum from last night into tomorrow.
What went so well in that game, what did you think?
Well, we had a really good start. Took advantage of some chances. Power play got us one. We played with a lot of jump, a lot of energy, and he's talked about spirit a little bit. And, we were down in the dumps a little bit as a group, and kind of how we were feeling. And I think it's provided a little bit of a fresh start, and I think there's. It's kind of a team that needed it a little bit, so excited about that, and want to, like I said, it's been 4 days or whatever, but we have some things that we can hang our hat on for the last 4 days and try and continue on.
Andrew, how do players find out about something like that?
Twitter. Twitter. Yeah. We were driving to see, my wife and I were going to see our maid of honor and her newborn child, and she was on Twitter on the drive over, and she told me, so. Had some calls with some teammates and some texts with some old teammates and old coaches about, what he's all about, and go from there.
Just how important is it to get more guys going offensively as you guys move forward?
I mean, depth scoring is always really important. I think, you look at Washington. I mean, they're having a tremendous year, and you see up and down the lineup, they got guys with some pretty good production. It starts on their back end, really, to be honest with you. Chikrin and Carlson have really helped them in terms of production. So, we got to score more goals. We got to keep more out defensively. I mean, we can improve in all aspects of the game. So, it feels like we've kind of found a little bit of offensive confidence with some combinations, but it's just like everything else. You got to kind of continue to put the pedal down.
Yours is the one line that he's kept together from before. Just how much does that help?
Well, I think we were going pretty well before the Christmas break, and those 2 Montreal games. The first one we were kept together, and I think we had a goal in that game. And then we had produced in the games prior, and then the game in Montreal and the game at home against St. Louis went south so poorly that the kind of hit the blender on the lines a little bit. So we didn't really get our time together in those games. But it feels like whenever we played a full game together, we've gotten at least one, and chances kind of shift in, shift out a little bit. So I think we feel good about the direction we're headed. We got to clean up a couple things, but you could tell Kaner's starting to feel it a little bit, and I think we complement each other well on the line, all three of us. So it's been good. Like I said, but pedal down. I can't one game, but we gotta continue on.
Are there any qualities you felt like his teams had in common when you ran into them at those previous stops?
I mean, each team was a little bit different, but that San Jose team, man, they were on you. Not real big, not real physical. They were a bigger team, but not overly physical. But they played quick. They were on you, and you could say the same about his LA teams. That LA team has changed since the Daryl Sutter days when they were really big and physical. But he's changed. That's a hard team to play against night in, night out, and. So I think that tracking, that staying on the puck and on the forecheck, I think those are all kind of hallmarks of this team. So I think that's a lot of what we need to.
Protecting pucks down low, and obviously retrieving pucks for those guys. Obviously they like to make plays, and they're going to find each other. But just trying to be at the right spot, go to the net, and just use my speed and try to complement those guys.
Is this almost like a fresh start for you too? Do you see it that way, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, it's new opportunity, so obviously want to do my best and take advantage with that. But yeah, I don't want to focus too much on that. Just kind of continue playing my game and knowing what what I can do that gives me a lot of success, and just sticking with that.
Did you feel even before that your game's been coming on? Previous few games that it seems like you're generating more, you're getting more chances.
Yeah, just feeling good about my game and feeling confident. Obviously, once you get a few bounces and they start going in the net, obviously helps with your confidence, and that's kind of what happened. And then just the rest of my game just started to flow a little bit better. Just felt a lot more confident with my skills and using my speed and protecting pucks well down low and just forechecking well, and I thought the rest just kind of came along with it.
He talked about lines need balance, and I feel like that kind of applied to the goal you guys scored. That you kind of started with the forechecking and you set that whole plan. Is that kind of the vision for how that line can be successful?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, they're two really good players, and like I said before, they're going to find each other. They've been doing that the whole year and even previous years. So just trying to obviously complement any way I can, and I think where I can be successful is retrieving pucks and being hard on the forecheck, winning battles, and obviously I think plays will just start to open up. But I think we got a lot of speed on that line, so obviously could be dangerous, and I think we showed some flashes of it last night, and obviously looking forward to playing with those two for sure.
You see a lot of the time when the coach comes in, there's a little bit of an energy left or pressure release. How much have you kind of felt that?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, this is the first time for me personally that it's happened in season. So, just really like our energy right now. I think guys are feeling really confident in here. Although we lost that Toronto game, I thought, our energy was good. Our spirit was down. We weren't, moping or getting frustrated on the bench. So I think, there's some signs that are leading to some positive things, and I think we just got to keep building. Obviously, it's one game, that we won, but we got to stay in it and be ready for tomorrow.
It's a big tradition here at Little Caesars Arena. How do you guys game plan for the Penguins tomorrow?
Yeah, I think obviously you look over some video and look at some of the stuff that we've been doing well and stuff that we need to work on. But like you said, New Year's Eve, I think it's easy to get up for those games, and especially when you're playing at home. Obviously there's no better feeling than to play in front of your home crowd and on such a special night. So I think we got to use that energy and use that momentum from last game and start off strong. Coming tomorrow.
Saw some offense from you guys last night, but how do you get more guys going, some more secondary scoring?
I think there are some offensive concepts that we've begun to talk about. Just some of the beliefs that we may have that we're trying to implement into the players, blend our beliefs with theirs. Saw some of the attempts last night, the volume and the secondary opportunities that were created off the first one are really important. So I think that if we talk about individuals that are going and individuals that aren't going, the concept comes first, and then we try and pull everybody into it. And you look at a line like Kane and Brinkett and Copp, they've been pretty good offensively. They've bought into it. They've created some momentum. They haven't played in our end as much as maybe they have in the past. And they're enjoying the fruits of their labor at the other end. So it's fun to play that way. Last night when we played, we were a good, focused, direct, offensive team for a while, and then we got away from it a little bit. And then we had to go get it back again. And it's just drilling it into players and groups of players and the team over and over again until it becomes more of a habitual thing than a requested thing.
Is that something especially, with Tarasenko, he's obviously capable of...
Yeah, Vladdy scored 40 goals in this league, so he's won cups, and he was brought here to provide some of that, and he will. Vladdy's very, at least in my 72 hours now around Vladdy, I really like Vladdy. He's got a great personality, and I think he's a very cerebral individually, thinks a lot about situations and so sometimes those guys with new coaching staffs and new teammates and new teams, it takes a little while longer because they're trying to analyze everything. At least that's my opinion. I could be completely wrong. But I think it will come for Vladdy. He's been moved around a fair amount, not only in the past but already by us. He's been on a number of different lines, so if we can just find him a solid home too, that would be nice. Somebody that he can connect with. We haven't been able to do that yet, but maybe JT can be that guy, and we'll see how it goes.
When a proven guy like Larkin's gone a while without a goal, a guy who has a track record like that, do you just kind of leave it alone, or do you do anything to try to help, or do you just figure that sooner or later he's going to break out of that?
Not only Dylan, but all of the players, I want them to know that we believe in them. That you don't have to score every night, but when Dylan Larkin has a shower, he jumps in his car and he drives him to the rink, there's that pressure that he puts on himself, and he feels it from everybody else. So that's got to weigh on him. But if he's not scoring, there's so many other things that he has to do. And at least for 6 periods, the check marks have been pretty good on his side of the ledger as far as face-offs and power play, defensive stuff, creating for his teammates. I don't know if the goal's more important or the assist sometimes. So as long as he's involved, I think it will come. We see him shooting it a little bit more or being more hungry around that thought process. And if it continues, it'll go in.
What have your early impressions been of Marco Kasper?
Still trying to get to know him. Like, he obviously a younger player is going to be a little more reserved maybe than some of the older players that have been around. They just, they're a little quieter. They're trying to figure out where they fit in and what the new coaching staff may think about them. But he seems to be a real solid player. Like, he's heavy, he's hard, he works. I think he's had a couple bad luck situations net front in his first 2 games, especially last night. There wasn't much he could do about that. We're finding a bit of a penalty kill role for him, and he seems to want to embrace that. Do I think there's offense there? Absolutely. But he's still a real young player and long runway ahead of him.
Hey Todd, how are you getting to know these guys? You trying to get them like before or after practice with little meetings, or just talk to them on the ice, or
just
depends.
Hey, good morning. It's amazing where that will take you. I'm looking for, my wife and I are looking for somewhere to live. So, hey, have you used a real estate agent? Where do you live? And all of a sudden it comes out. Copper was telling me today that, Andrew Copp was telling me today, he goes, when you were here last time, I think you came out and coached my Pee-wee team or my 8-year-old team that I was on. And I'm going, holy, am I ever old? So Paul McLean, myself, and Babs apparently went out to Plymouth. My son played on the CompuWare team too, and I think he was a 97. My son was 96, and Babs' Michael was a 95. So they all played there together, and I guess we went out and coached them. So that was him trying to connect with me too. And it's not always me going there. They find ways to connect. And we don't always have to talk about hockey. We can talk about their families, and seeing their little ones run around is important. And
From the penalty kill perspective, it looks like you've kind of gone more of the diamond as opposed to one on the top kind of being the more pressure. What's kind of the thought process when you come in and the way you and Trent have changed the penalty killer?
Well, we've adjusted some things. Yeah. We haven't had a lot of time to work on it. I was really impressed with the way the players applied what we gave them in the game yesterday. It's not easy. There's some real important reads. I was certainly concerned that when you're implementing something new and you take it on the chin, guys they begin to doubt. So we got through that, and hopefully that happens for a few more games where they really start to buy into it. But it's just a different way of killing. Probably 3 or 4 different ways you can. And the old way of killing is really effective for some teams, but it just wasn't working here, so we had to change it.
From a logistics standpoint, now that you've obviously right now it's kind of figure everything out, it's 72 hours. as a coach, as you get things set, how do you try to kind of set your schedule once you get things to a little bit more normal? Is it like right now we're seeing a lot of practice, you know these guys. It's something where once things are...
Well,
Yeah.
there's, I think I'm going to answer your question. I hope I am. There's a real balance between, as the year goes on, the fatigue factor, both physically and mentally, comes into play for every team. And you have to balance the physical and mental freshness with keeping the team sharp and advancing the team. And when teams are playing well, you can advance. When teams aren't playing well, you're almost in repair mode and you're stuck there. If we can get playing well and add things, keep practices shorter later on, but we won't sacrifice the opportunity to get better just for shortening things up. We'll see where we are, but there's going to be a priority in trying to improve and progress.
The puck protection drill that you started with, was there something in the game last night that made you want to start there, or was that just a way to open practice?
No, there's just, every coach starts practice with some sort of warm-up drill. You get the body sweating a little bit and the hands moving, and it can become pretty monotonous when you just do the same thing. That type of drill is actually fun. There's a fun element to it. It gets the guy's spirit kind of up, and it's competitive right off the bat. They don't even realize it because they're enjoying it, and it usually sets a real good tone for practice. Now, we won't do it all the time, but I felt our team could use that today.
It looked like you had, on the power play, you had Gustafson on both units, or you trying to figure
Yeah,
out
we worked today, so don't even look into power play. We were working on penalty kill today, so that's, there were some guys I think that were on the power play that probably don't normally play the power play just because of jerseys and pairs and all that type of stuff, and so it was a penalty kill day for sure.
The New Year's Eve game here at LCA is a unique tradition, and what's been your early impressions of the fan base so far, both as a coach here and before?
Well, it's not unusual for me, and I get it. It's 2 decades, but when you used to come to the Joe, and because I see all the familiar faces, it just had a feel for it. Whether it was the New Year's Eve game or any game, it's a unique community, hockey community, and the people understand the game. They appreciate the game. You're not fooling fans here at all. And when the effort's there, they're happy with it. If the effort's not there, then they're not going to be happy with it. But the overall community and the support that we get is pretty strong. It feels like I've gone back to Edmonton, to tell you the truth. Because when I was in Edmonton, there's not a lot of places you could go without somebody saying, now I'm walking around and, hey, coach, good luck tonight. Hey, coach. But that's the Michigan people. They're friendly and they're supportive, and it's kind of nice.
Have you gotten a little bit of that already this week, Todd?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was, we're out in Birmingham now and settling in, or trying to, and maybe seeing some of the same people and around the hotel. Yeah.
This might be admittedly a slightly off question, but in LA, everything was done at that one practice facility. Then you played games separately. Here, everything's here. And I know it's maybe a silly question, but is there anything about the coach of, you have one office, you have one place, game days aren't 2 different spots?
I'm trying to think so in LA, like at Crypto Arena, and most of you have been there at some point, the Kings facilities are excellent. Like they get treated just like the Red Wings do, really well by ownership and management. But they are a skeleton of what they have at their practice facility. So you live at your practice facility. All the meals, all the gym equipment, the training, the rehab is all done there. You go play your game and then you come back to home. Here we come and it's the exact opposite. Everything is here. It's kind of nice to have your home arena as your home base. The only difference is in LA, where we spent 90% of our time in the practice facility, was a 5 to 7 minute drive. You could ride your bike or walk if you wanted to, which was really nice. But you take the good with the bad sometimes, and this isn't a bad drive.
Todd, you mentioned looking for a place to live. What is that like, trying to balance with a very high pressure job?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that come into play. I have family that's more important to me than hockey. I can tell you that right now, and I want to make sure that is taken care of too. And quite frankly, it's my wife and I. Both my boys are married and they're on their own, but they're interested in what's going on and where you're going to live and do those things. So I have to balance that, and we'll get after that as quick as we can. Just get comfortable, but. It's last time I was here, I had 2 little mouths to feed, and hockey practice. I listened to Alex Tangay. I've got practice Monday, 2 of them on Tuesday, 3 on Thursday. Like, it's just nonstop, and I'm going, holy, I don't know how you do it. But that was me at one point.
How much do you notice? I mean, Tanguay as a player was so known for his vision, his hockey sense. How much do you see that?
Oh, he's sharp. He's very sharp. Very, very sharp. He picks things up, and he's got a unique mind. Keep working at his craft. I don't think there's any reason why he couldn't be sitting in this chair at some point, for sure. So far. Okay.
You don't miss the traffic though, right?
No. That was, the HOV lane was.
Yeah.